Is hydrogen doomed under President Trump? As it turns out, folks, huge changes could be coming for the hydrogen industry in the US as the political landscape is shifting pretty significantly. And we're already starting to see the ramifications in the stock market. Industry leaders are cautiously optimistic that green hydrogen and blue hydrogen projects could continue going into the new administration despite the rhetoric that clean energy is a scam, it is inflationary, and there is no real future for it in the United States. We had record investments in clean energy projects like solar, wind, or even hydrogen fuel cells since 2020. Momentum, although it's slowing down, is still there. And the main concern now is the road ahead being uncertain from a policy standpoint. The question stands whether or not looser rules under Trump could actually benefit something like hydrogen, or will those political challenges create new hurdles for this extremely new industry? Well, folks, let's try to understand exactly those ramifications in this video. And first things first, folks, although slow, the growth in the hydrogen industry worldwide is gaining traction. India and Germany, some of the biggest technological powerhouses in the world, just released a joint roadmap for the production and scale of green hydrogen for various hard-to-decarbonize industries like steel manufacturing, fertilizer production, and even electric vehicles. What clean energy skeptics often forget, especially when it comes to hydrogen, is that the industry is extremely mature right now. Although green hydrogen is not, there is a lot of job creation and private sector investment that can be facilitated with investments in hydrogen trading and exportation. And guess what? This not only gets translated into new jobs and investments, but actually better paying jobs with potentially a better future. And as it turns out, most of those investments in the United States were actually under red states, where Trump obviously won and actually gained traction in some red counties and blue states. This is where these jobs are being created, not only for hydrogen, but the overall clean energy sector, from factories to production lines to even supply chain warehouses for solar panels, wind technologies, fuel cells, and even electric cars. What's more is that look at what just happened with Bloom Energy, which is a fuel cell power module manufacturer based in California that just announced a record-breaking 1 gigawatt fuel cell installation deal with AEP to power AI data centers. This sent Bloom stock skyrocketing by 60% after underperforming the market drastically since the inflation and interest rate drama of 2022. What investors are starting to realize, at least here, is that Bloom Energy and other fuel cell companies in the United States focus on power generation instead of pure renewable energy. And this is a really big proponent for why hydrogen is an investment-worthy sector today, even under Trump. Because as it turns out, Trump's main focus is power generation, increasing national security, and reducing the cost of electricity. And you don't need to look any further than Bloom's own website to understand that hydrogen fits both of those bills. It not only provides clean energy, but also reliable energy in the form of fuel cells that can reduce carbon emissions, but also provide independent power savings and significant power backup for industries that are very critical. And well, what other industries are also critical in the United States that Trump wants to support? Logistics and transportation, because those are the jobs his states have the most. And as it turns out right now, Nikola's hydrogen truck is selling in record wholesale numbers in the most recent quarter, despite the slowdown in the overall market and the extremely tough inventory situation. Nikola, as of right now, is primarily only selling fuel cell electric trucks, and now they've sold 80 in the most recent quarter, the biggest record for them since they started production. Although you can say Trump is anti-EVs because of his rhetoric against clean energy, the reality is he is pro-technology and pro-manufacturing. And electric vehicles, particularly heavy-duty ones like the ones from Nikola's fuel cell truck, can support both of those answers and explicitly support the creation of new jobs and a national security interest. The reality is there are multiple aspects and perspectives of hydrogen specifically, from consumption in electric vehicles and obviously even power generation. What Trump's main focus and why hydrogen even right now is low on his priority list is for green hydrogen that is produced through renewable electricity. And right now only 5% of worldwide hydrogen is produced through green, mostly because of extremely high cost. And so yes, although there's going to be a slowdown in green hydrogen investments, potentially, if Trump repeals some parts of the Inflation Reduction Act and provides lower funding for the 45V regulatory tax credit, the reality is low carbon hydrogen is still within Trump's agenda. And that low carbon hydrogen supports extremely broad amount of end uses, from heating, power generation to transportation and the steel industry in the United States, and is likely to benefit under Trump. And what's more is that the tax credits enacted in 2022 under Biden really didn't have an effect on the cost of green hydrogen to any extent, because investment was still lackluster because of extremely high interest rates, which is what decides final investment decisions for most projects. As you can see, green is still unprofitable in the Americas, although still profitable in Europe and some parts of India, which is why you're seeing more momentum in foreign countries than in the United States. But it's important to remember that this doesn't mean that hydrogen is a completely dead-end industry under a new administration, because like I just showed you, Nikola Motors or Bloom Energy are companies that are already making products that use any type of hydrogen, not necessarily green. And guess what, folks? The reality is, as much as doom and gloom we can do for the policies that Trump might set, he hasn't explicitly said anything about what the Department of Energy can do specifically for hydrogen. We can make assumptions all we want, but based on the data that we've seen and also where hydrogen fits in to the broader picture, there are green shoots for success under a Trump administration, particularly with his more pro-business stance. At the end of the day, reducing taxes and reducing interest rates is going to help the hydrogen industry more than the repealing of any policies. And similar to how Trump was educated by his advisors on nuclear energy, with more bipartisan support, less regulation, and helping with faster permits, a similar use case could follow for blue hydrogen projects, helping to potentially reduce the cost of hydrogen fuel cells and the fuel itself. And as billionaires Tom Steyer already said, it's not really about supporting renewable energy, it's more so about reducing cost, supporting national security, and investing in American jobs. And hydrogen can help support that. Only time will tell, folks, if Trump's rhetoric will materialize, but rest assured that investments are growing, demand is growing, and innovation still continues on in hydrogen right now. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks, and thanks all for watching. Take care.